You know what? We were really ready to get out of here. We were ready to kick our feet back. We were ready to relax. But you know what? I just remembered something. Team USA is playing right now. We are from the USA. A lot of people in the USA, I guess, root for Team USA. They're playing Costa Rica right now. I believe that's who they're playing. Matt, do I got that wrong?
You are correct, sir. They are playing Costa Rica.
Man, so US lost the last game. They look to be up 3-0 at this point. What can you say about this team? This team of
You,
misfits.
it's tough dictating U.S. They and I think it comes down to you can't blame the coach to a certain period. And I think it's like an easy scapegoat to blame the coach, but it's like no coach has really done better than Klinsmann. I mean, can we really blame him? It's not like the last coach won the World Cup and Klinsmann's like failing, to reach tournament semifinals, quarterfinals. Um, the players need to put themselves, and I feel like the players are too comfortable in the U.S. I feel like they're not brave enough to test the waters in European competition, and I think it's reflects on the team. Absolutely. I mean, you can't expect players, and the MLS is not the best league in the world, so I mean, you can't expect players in the MLS to outperform players that are playing against like world class players like Messi, Ronaldo, and stuff. So I mean, dude, I'm just tired of all the Klinsmann hate because I like Jurgen, but can't possibly be this guy's fault that they don't make the finals or whatever. I mean, what do you expect? What do you think, Josh?
I think I know nothing about soccer, but I think I don't know. All the good athletes, of what I understand, go to all the other sports. So I can't expect, I can't expect the U.S. to keep up in that sense, just because they don't have the super athletic advantage. I mean, hey, what country dominates in basketball every year? And if there was a world football American Football League, who do you think would dominate? So it's just kind of like you see all the I don't know. Then also you see overseas just the difference. Like if you just watch the World Cup, you just see the speed difference with some of the guys and everything. I would say US is like very conditioned. I could look at the
Absolutely.
team and see they are one of the better conditioned teams I've seen, which I guess helps. That's our advantage. But hey, that's that.
I would say they are in great condition. I think they play well together as a team. I think there's good chemistry on the team, but just talent wise, I just think they just don't quite have it. Sorry, USA. I mean, okay, let's put this into perspective. Even Jamaica has a player that plays on a Premier League like team. I mean, that won a championship too. Even Jamaica. So like, what's US's excuse? The players don't try. They don't want to. They don't want to go overseas. They'd rather be comfortable in the U.S. and collect the U.S. paycheck or whatever. They just don't want to. They don't. They're too afraid to play in a league where they won't be the best players. I feel like, and it hurts the team. It hurts the team. It really does. And I wish I was wrong, but I know that's true. It's absolutely true. Shame on you, U.S. players. I mean, come on. I think Dempsey's the only one who had the courage to actually play in the top league. The only player on the entire team. I mean, how many are qualified versus how many play? It's ridiculous.
So
Like, come on.
who's on this team that everybody knows? Everybody knows Jermaine Jones. Clint Dempsey is like the Godfather. Who else?
Yeah.
That's about it. Uh,
They have, and again, a whole lot of MLS players in the lineup. Um, Brad Guzin, I'm not sure if he actually plays at Aston Villa or not, but either way, they got relegated, so it's not the greatest team on earth. And they have a bunch of, I'd say, misfits. Um,
misfits.
I'm
Yeah,
just looking at their lineup. I just can't look at any player and I'm like, man, they have a great chance because so and so's playing. You know.
yeah. Matt Lane knows everything about European soccer. Knows practically everything. Can't name a single person on the U.S. team. Knows about everything about soccer. Can't name a single guy on the U.S. team.
U.S. needs to do something. I don't quite know what it is, but I
Who's the
think they just
big
got to
guy?
start.
Who's the big guy with the bald head? I always find interesting to watch.
Are you talking about Michael Bradley?
Michael Bradley, yeah.
First alien to play in the for Team USA.
He's the Sam Cassell of the.
He's like the Sam Cassell times 2.
Like if Sam Cassell played soccer, he wish he would have a head as small.
I can't believe Sam Cassell's legacy actually lives on past his retirement. I think that just shows so much about him. I mean, if people are still making Sam Cassell references like years later, I mean,
and it's not for the dance of his, man. Okay, so
not for the dance.
I love like looking at these guys coming in because it's like, oh yeah, I remember you from the World Cup, and I was like, oh yeah, I remember you. Like Bedoya is leaving and Beckerman is coming in right now, and I'm just kind of like, oh yeah. I was like, oh, that's right. These are our players.
Right. I don't think that's a great reaction.
Who's the goalie that everybody liked for Team USA? Everyone loved. What was his name?
We used to love Tim Howard.
Tim Howard.
And again, of a dying breed of brave U.S. players. He played for Everton for several years. Had a good career with them.
Everton's a good team, aren't they?
Absolutely, yeah. Oh, definitely. I mean, if you play for Everton, I'd say you're doing decently as a footballer. But yeah. But he's edging towards retirement. I think he's
got to be a 40.
Yeah.
He's
not the youngest player in the world, so. But he's still on the national team. I think he's the backup to Brad Guzan. So
he only comes in when it's needed. So what about what's his name? Who's that? The big guy that everyone supposedly loves as a forward, but I've never actually seen him score a goal. I don't know if he's still on the team.
You know what's bad that I know exactly who you're talking about. I think it was the last part. Big guy. I'm like, okay, big guy doesn't score. Oh, Jozy Altidore, right?
Yeah, him. He's
Jozy
always
Altidore. Man, how much time you got for me to insult Jozy Altidore? How much time you got? Like I could point at like 30 different things I don't like about Jozy Altidore.
Okay.
All right, but we'll limit it to like the top 2. Number 1, he just I can't explain him as a player. Like he almost has no good qualities, like other than his strength. And I just don't think that's good enough. He's like Freddie. He had Freddie Adu syndrome. He was best when he was like 18, and then the older he gets, the worse he seems to play. Freddie Adu syndrome. Nobody understands how you can practice more and get worse, but Freddie Adu figured it
out. Okay.
They say practice equals success, but not for Freddie. What else can I say about? I mean, there's not really much to say about Mr.
Jozy
Altidore. Other than the fact, I think he got dropped from the lineup. So even Jurgen's like, geez, come on, man.
Jurgen's like, Jesus, you can't even beat up these losers. These losers.
Like
that was my best German accent right there.
That was flawless.
Thank you. I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah, it was pretty good. I'd say so. Yeah, I think he's off the team. I'm looking at the lineup right now. I don't see him as a sub either. So I think he's done with. I mean, about time, right?
They need to bring back what's his name?
Jozy's the type of player that makes me regret not going pro because I'm like, I wasn't that far away from it. I really wasn't. I mean, I look at Jozy play. I'm like, come on, Jozy. I seriously think in my prime, I could have scored more in the Premier League than him. I mean, 0 goals in like 25 plus starts. That's just sad. That's like a goalkeeper stat, And we're talking about a striker, an out-and-out striker. That's just terrible.
Honestly,
Jeez, like,
I
come on,
look
man. I cheered for you too.
honestly, I look at some of these guys on in the MLS, and I look and thinking back to when you played, I was kind of like, yeah, Matt didn't actually look that much different from some of them.
I should have stayed with it, but I was young.
Matt played on you played on a bum ankle a bunch of the time.
Yeah. I played hurt, but it's nothing.
Anyway,
that's not significant.
So aside from USA, so here's my favorite Matt Lane stat that he would do. He used to essentially do the white man can't jump, but for soccer. Wouldn't you like play money for hustle folks in soccer for playing money? Like they get you on the team thinking you didn't know how to play. Wasn't that your deal when you were in college when you needed money?
Yeah, you know what did they say? With life easy lemons make lemonade. That was probably my best skill at the time, so I figured I had to make some type of money with it. Jeez.
U.S. just scored again, 4-0. But yeah, and that terrible team we're talking about. No, I'm kidding. Jurgen's looking at that team like, oh my goodness, they're terrible.
Jurgen's like, one more day of the job.
Okay, bye.
One more game. Yeah, you can't get sacked after winning 4-0. That doesn't make sense.
Fire Jurgen. Okay, replace him with what? And get what good players to play?
Yeah, come on, like we need to have an initiative. We shouldn't blame the coach. It's up to the manager. He needs to step up and I don't know either. I mean, there's so many different options to improve, but it's like they don't do much of anything. I mean, we settled for a coach, which is good. A lot of teams aren't as organized as Team USA, but in terms of talent, it's just it's not close, I feel like. I mean, think about this. You know, I'd say African teams, for example, a lot of African teams have players that play for like world-class clubs, you know, big clubs, like big clubs in Europe. But they fail on the organizational level. U.S. is kind of the opposite. So, and as you see, they've pretty much achieved the same amount of success, I'd say. African teams and U.S. So, I mean, if U.S. had like African players and vice versa, we might be able to see like an absolute international juggernaut. But instead, we have a highly organized Team U.S. and the highly not talented Team U.S.
Okay. All right. I didn't know we were going there with that, but you kind of cleaned that up, so that didn't sound too bad.
Good. That's okay. It's terrible. We just edited it out.
No, we ain't edited nothing. Nothing.
All right then. That's what I like to hear.
Anyway, this has been another day. Man, we had to come back in and talk about USA soccer. Speaking of random, didn't you used to play with people that played for the Atlanta Silverbacks? Played with them though. Didn't your friend play?
I played with a couple. I did have a friend that played. I had a couple ex-teammates, friends that played for the Silverbacks. Honestly, nothing special. I think college play is probably a higher level than that, honestly.
8th in the nation.
I mean, think about it. When you're in college, when you're playing teams like Barry, you know, they probably have 3-4 players that are going to the MLS, you know. Georgia Southern, same thing. Just teams like that. I mean, you got to think they probably have like – it's just like college basketball, you know. They have a couple players that are probably going pro. We had a couple that went pro, so.
And a couple that played that are playing in this tournament we're watching right now.
Yeah.
Okay. That's what's up, man. Anyway, appreciate you. Appreciate you coming back on, spitting some USA knowledge. And this time, finally, we are out of here.
Great.